I spelled it wrong again. Is there a D in it? Gardner?
It's a D.
Well,
I think.
good way to remember. Okay, so the guy who invented or came up with the idea of multiple intelligence is Howard Gardner. And he did this in the book Frames of Mind, The Theory of Multiple Intelligence, which he published in 1983. That's a picture of him. Yeah, kind of crazy haired guy. And then this is like kind of what Professor Tim showed us. I have a bigger picture on the next slide, but just kidding, the next slide. Yeah, multiple intelligence or MI, which in the outline I put MI a lot just because multiple intelligence was a lot of words and I was trying to make it more small. Refers to the inner base philosophy that characterizes human intelligence as having multiple dimensions that can be acknowledged and developed in education. MI is a group of instructional perspectives that focuses on differences between learners and adaptation of what learners do and how they learn, which we'll get into in a second. So I think there's one right here.
Yes.
One right to wrong.
We'll see how many we'll keep track.
Not out yet, but it's okay. I make all kinds of mistakes.
So yeah, he had 9 native intelligences, 8, and they were linguistic, which is like being word smart, logical / mathematical, which is like you're good with numbers and reasoning. The third one is societal, which is like pictures, like to memorize things.
I think that's spatial.
Spatial, yeah.
Yeah.
4, musical, which is just music smart, if you can pick up music really easily. 5 is like bodily, which is just like people smart, knowing your surroundings, knowing people around you. 6, interpersonal, which is like knowing yourself. Naturalistic, which is nature. And then there's the last one that was added later, which not a lot of people recognize, but some people do. Is I can't say it.
Existential.
Yeah. Which is kind of just like philosophy, or just kind of like thinking a bigger picture. Yep. And then here's that graphic that's bigger. It kind of gives a breakdown of each of them.
Now I was laughing at you. I just find some of the terms so abstract. I will show some. How do we call it? Nora, go back to the last slide. Last one. Because I'm always very confused with the interpersonal. So smart. How do you? Yeah, actually use that, and then how would that actually help?
Maybe it's like you know yourself.
Yeah, there's an example later that I'll like show, but yeah, I think it's just like knowing yourself.
Like your strengths and weaknesses.
I mean, that's kind of all of what multi-intelligence is. It's just
It's being the one.
Yeah.
I think we are the whole country, Taiwan, right now is probably entering this part. Starting from 2019, we get rid of COT. It's previously what they call 9-year compulsory whatever curriculum, and right now we are entering this one. So new students right now from this freshman year, when they were being interviewed, we were looking for all kinds of intelligences. It's getting everything so complicated, and people have a lot of complaints. So right now you don't just come in and we will ask you questions. They will probably put something there like a model or a Lego, and then say, can you put them up all together? And a lot of us find it quite crazy. Yeah, but it's been like 1 to 2 years. And then when you were in high school, you have to go into all kinds of contests to prove yourself. You are not only good in the language, you have to be good with everything. So I see people taking robots lessons. Yeah, I live in an apartment, so kids ride elevators every day. You see different people. Some people carrying musical instruments, some people go to robot games. Yeah, some even went to Australia for robot contest. So that's probably their, government here is embracing this idea. So, yeah, we will talk about it. I have a very stupid demo next week. I will try to do that to show your inner smart to everybody. We will do that. Sorry for the interruption.
No, you're good. Yeah, each learner is believed to have personal intelligence profiles, which they shorten to like MI profiles. And these consist of a combination of different intelligence types, those 8 different types. That for some people who have a higher, say like musical, and then maybe the next person will have a higher mathematical intelligence, which causes them to have just different approaches to learning. So the theory of language, which describes that MI was originally proposed as a contribution of cognitive science, and that language is not just the linguistic components, but involves like all aspects of communication. And then the theory of learning is the idea that we learn senses and the things around us, not just like exactly. So it's kind of like holistic. The design, there isn't much of a design to multiple intelligence. MI focuses on the language learner being the better designer of their own learning experience. So it's kind of just like you and the teacher, which we'll talk about in a second, knowing what your learning style is or what your multiple intelligence profile is. That will help you with your learning like capabilities and progress. And because it's so like individualized, there really isn't a lot of syllabus recommendations for language teaching, but there was this Lazar created one, which was a design like a sequence that you could use to follow through the different stages. So the first stage was is awaken the intelligence, which is using senses and objects around you to identify. Stage 2 is amplify the intelligence. Students improve knowledge by choosing objects and identifying them with what they already know. So it's kind of like, okay, you have these objects, and it's like, okay, what do I already know about them? Building off of what you are, the intelligence you already know. Stage 3, teach with or for the intelligence. Intelligence is linked to the topic of class. This is where the worksheets and projects or group discussion can come into. And then stage 4 is transfer the intelligence, which is reflect on the previous stages and how it relates to the things that you learned. So there's kind of the 4 stages that a teacher could follow if they wanted to through the design. So the different types of learning activities, MI profiles teachers choose activities to best match students' learning profiles. So yeah, this is kind of interpersonal, so an idea of that would be brainstorming. Like it's your own thoughts, your own brainstorming. Some of the other ones would be like word building games, mind maps, jazz chants. Bodily would be relaxation exercises, which I feel like kind of fits with what Jamie did today. And then the naturalistic would be like to go into nature, or you can use like nature background music. These are just some ideas. It doesn't have to be limited to these. These are just what's the book listed. The learner's role in this is that they need to be engaged and have awareness of what their MI profiles are for MI to be successful. So it's kind of taking assessment of knowing what your strengths are and what your weaknesses are, and how that like ebbs and flows through different topics or different subjects. The teacher's role, which I think is the hardest, is to know each of the multiple intelligent profiles so well that they can adapt understand for the students' needs. I think this is hard because I think that's a lot of pressure and a lot of work for one teacher to know each student's like different profiles and be able to like plan for that, which I'll talk about later. As I would say is a downfall of multiple intelligence. But yeah, that's the teacher's role. And then instructional materials. Again, MI doesn't have many published materials because it relies on the like creativity and knowledge of the students from the teacher. So it's hard to like generalize it when each student is going to be different. The downfall is because of the extensive planning and time it takes to prepare for each classroom activity. It just takes a lot of time for the teacher. So as I was like reading through this, I feel that this could be a good strategy for tutors because they only have like one, maybe 2 or 3 students, so they would have more time to be able to like adapt to it. I just think about my Chinese tutor, and I feel like she's doing this. Like she like knows what my strengths are and knows what my weaknesses are, and it's planning lessons to be able to like cater to my strengths.
Just nothing personal on Laura. I'm not talking to her. I'm just curious. Laura, would you think that you are being a very how do I use the word, shy person?
Shy?
Yeah. Would you say that?
No.
Okay. No, but to me, I have this issue. He's not shy. So I'm so simply saying that.
Yeah.
Maybe James is shy.
Huh?
I don't know.
I would say Laura's not shy, but maybe she's not as extroverted or as in your face as I am.
But it's loud, maybe?
Yeah, not as loud.
No, I'm not. You are using another word that probably will get us somewhere because. No, I mean just probably this is a public image. We are being teachers, students. Okay, if we put everything aside, strangers seeing everybody on the street, probably things will be a little bit different. But I always feel like you are a very shy person, and then every time but accidentally, this one should have been James' spot, right? Remember, I switched them. Yeah, I don't know which one is better, but it's just by luck. So every time I'm looking at this one, and I'm plus today's Successpedia, okay, I wasn't feeling very comfortable being the pseudo senior in a pseudo concert. And now, if you have to do this kind of approach or method, would we expect a teacher to be this capable? Like you have to know.
It's asking a lot from a teacher.
Yeah. And what if you are just like, for example, you only have like 4 intelligences, and you are trying to cater your students with 8 or 9.
Yes.
This would be good for smaller classes, of course. So it would give the teacher, I guess, a great opportunity to cater to the needs of.
But very soon you will get to the point because first time I was reading this part, I was thinking, I was assuming that if you have a group of very strong linguistic intelligence students, you should probably cater to it. But it's the other way around. You should try to develop their weaker intelligences. That's the theory from.
I think a lot of the theory too is to like for the student for it to work is that the students have a lot of confidence in it. Confidence in their learning, and I feel like they can grow in their confidence.
And probably like you say, it's 20 years ago. When I first got here, Gardner was so popular among students from Taiwan, and we have a lot of people going to study with him. And later on, just accidentally this week, your part and my students. I start to losing students every single time when I get to probably somewhere before midterm. There was like 4 or 5 people missing, and I was always very struggling if I should just write or not. And when I read your handout last night, I decided I wanted to say something to these kids, and turning out I was wrong. I assumed they were all lazy, they didn't want to come to class for some reason. Maybe I was not doing a good job. But it's always something to do with their family, and they decided they were not coming, were not feeling comfortable or something. I think these would be, probably we can use this one as more like our mental strategy and probably just look into your students. Okay? I have people who lost their family members these past weeks, and they didn't actually write, and they just disappeared and not sending in the assignments. And I try not to be. I try not to be so mean about the attendance or right now, if you are using Google Classroom, some of our teachers are actually very strict with Google Classroom. If you don't turn it in, that's it. And then I try to look into the problems, and maybe we can use this one more like our guidance. I don't know. I would try to see. I mean, I don't know how you. As I'm growing older, okay, we probably try not to look at the kids from their appearance, or from like the. Maybe I was wrong. I mean, judging you from the surveys. Yeah, who knows? Maybe Laura is a very outgoing teacher, and
She is. But I would say one of the struggle with this is that I feel like I've seen from my own experience is not that I've like done this before, but something I think I can see is that like when I was teaching at those cram schools, it was pretty like forced, like this is what you teach and this is how you teach it. And so often I felt like this is not how I would teach it. And this is like, so I feel like I'm teaching out of my weakness. And, but when I had like, when I started teaching university, I had no help in how to teach class. It was all on me. I designed everything myself. And so I taught what I wanted to teach and I had more fun with it. I enjoyed it more. And I feel like with this, it's very focused, which I think it should be, but it's very focused on how does the student learn best, not how does the teacher teach best.
Right.
And so, so oftentimes, I feel like you would be teaching out of your weaknesses, but it should be on the teacher to like have to push themselves rather than the student. But at the same time, there has to be a balance.
Right.
I think it became popular specifically in the States because like classroom was pretty rigid. So then when this was introduced, it like gave teachers a lot more autonomy. So I think that's like why initially it was like, oh, let's
Really
like repopulate, like let's structure our education around this because it's exciting to teachers. But I think how it plays out is it's actually
probably just bringing some new theories, and people will start rethinking. Okay, I had a really tough time for the past 2 years with my freshman speaking listening class, because I was really surprised, especially last year. They thought that I was taking too much of their time. So my training under COT was you have to get people to talk, and I find it very unreal. Wednesday morning, previously we had the class from 8 o'clock, and the course title is called Listening and Speaking. So you are supposed to speak. So this is weird. So right now, I mean, for everybody coming into my Wednesday class, I think I'm being very lucky, and you are also being very lucky. The other two teachers were telling me they have, people who don't really actually participate. The 乙班 and 甲班 are pretty bad, and this Wednesday class is wonderful. Okay, maybe 1 or 2 are shy, so maybe you could probably lead them to do something on their own and just give them some trust. They actually will come back and actually sharing something. Because my past training is more like I have to do individual calling. Rita was in my class, so she knows. If anyone who is shy or is not so willing to talk, and I feel bad, very bad about it. Yeah, I shouldn't be feeling so. No, I don't. I just have very negative image about these kids. And every single time when they take my other classes, I would say, why are you here? I do that quite often.
Yeah. Kids, I remember kids who didn't participate or just kind of like sat in the back. I'm like, okay, well, you don't care about this class, I don't care about you.
So we could probably learn something from this. So last week I was telling everybody from the beginning of today's class, I threw out a midterm survey, and then some kids actually said they actually are expecting something new every week, even though they don't talk much. But I think teacher methods I'm teaching lesson plan. It's more like the second part of the introduction to linguistics, to TESOL methods. And they say they are looking forward to all the new activities and different demos everywhere. Said, okay, so I was wrong. Okay, continue. Yeah, stay there in the back. Don't say anything. Sometimes I'm a mean teacher because some kids just never come to class. Last semester, I only have 2 boys. They show up 3 times only.
Sorry, there's an announcement.
No, it's okay. So basically, I turn this down for like forever. So, Laura, sorry, don't feel bad. Okay, just leave it there. Because this is the default. You are doing wonderfully. I personally just have to say how you guys found all these templates. They are just very different.
Slides go.
I know. I'm a member of it. I pay.
So my plan was to ask you at the end of the class, where do you find that?
Yeah, slides go, man.
Slides go.
Slides go is wonderful.
I know. I will probably show you guys the other website I'm using. It's called Doom. Probably Angie knew it. It's a software that will transcribe every word you say today. I'm actually recording this for the other purpose, but I am for the first time. Okay, I think I will probably stop teaching this course next year because you guys are making the level really high. Okay? Even for this one. Did I tell you you are the only class that is actually making everything into PowerPoint slides?
Well, yeah, it was funny because when I was preparing for mine, Jess was like, "You have to." Did he tell you to do a PowerPoint? I'm like, everyone's doing a PowerPoint. You gotta do a PowerPoint.
See?
And
That's
Jess
so
like,
exciting.
Jess last time I was like, last year was like, I don't think anyone made a PowerPoint last year.
Well,
Yeah, I made it.
Yeah, you start.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's not.
Wow.
I know I will be hated.
But the thing is that,
No, but you set
this
a
was my
certain
original
standard for us, which is great.
request. And undergrad students they just fall asleep sometimes at this moment because they probably find we make the undergrad level 2 hours. Simply the energy level is just not as high.
Yeah.
But yeah, coffee will come in very soon. So carry on. Sorry. We are just having too many feelings.
Okay, so as like a lot of in my its lesson plans are vary a lot interdeterminate classroom to classroom or student to student. But you can adapt different examples. So this was an example that the book gave on page 240 if you're interested. But yeah, it's just like an activity that you can sort of it focuses on like the describing different objects. And then in conclusion, this, like I was talking about before, this approach was attractive to a lot of teachers because of the way it highlights each learner as unique and develops the way the teachers can respond to each student. It was just kind of like something new that teachers could grow from in like different style of teaching. And it allows for new techniques to be used, but also leaves room for already existing language activities or just activities in general. And again, like I've talked about, the downside is the realistic ability of a teacher to be able to adjust classroom activities for each student individually, which is why I think this would be a good option for a tutor or maybe like a special education teacher who has less students, and those students maybe need a little bit more focused attention. But yeah, the overall goal is for students and teachers to understand their learning profiles and then to use that knowledge to better equip them for language learning activities. So yeah, using those 8 styles to basically help you decide like what you want to teach or how you want to teach those students. Yeah.
Okay.